forgot to record. I'm sorry, it happens. But today we have Ryan Stewart with New American Funding with us. So we're going to give Ryan the floor. And let me hit this button, and then that should be your logo and your thing that you sent me.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for letting me be here this morning. Wasn't here just too long ago. So today I thought I'm going to kind of give a brief overview of New American Funding, everything we do have to offer, and then I wanted to kind of spend a little bit of time on one specific product and just demographic of the market that I think we as lenders and as agents should be going after. So first of all, I am Ryan Stewart with New American Funding. We are a mortgage company only. We've got about, and back here in the corner too, I have Amanda Cooper, who is our branch manager. So she keeps our circus going, but our circus is a well-run circus. So anyway, New American Funding, we are a mortgage only company. So we have over 400 mortgage products. So I guess the thing I would say most of all is if you've got someone who's been somewhere else and they got to know, it's always good to check with somebody else, and we should be that second call because we have so many different options, products for self-employed, 1099 bank statement, every kind of DPA you can imagine. And I talked a lot about that last time, and I've left some stuff up here on the table as well, just to go deeper into it. So if you're curious about our in-house DPAs, all that kind of stuff, give me a call. But today I want to talk a little bit about VA loans and veterans. How many of you guys have worked with or target in your business veterans when you're out there looking for clients? So some of you, yeah. So some of you have had VA in the past, some of you may have not. But it is a fantastic segment of the market to target and to really work with. One, they obviously protect and defend our country, so I think that's a great thing. So it's an awesome thing to be able to give back to them. And there's a lot of misconception out there, even with veterans, about what they qualify for, how they can qualify, and what we can do that. So that's why I want to spend a little time today. So you've got a flyer that kind of covers some of the basics. Obviously, on VA loans, there is no down payment. So that's one of the biggest benefits right there. If you get a lot of clients wanting to know, I need down payment assistance, or I don't want, I don't have money for down payment with a veteran. They potentially don't have that responsibility of a down payment in the first place. One of the first things we're going to do when we get a veteran clients, we're going to order a COE, which is their certificate of eligibility, which is going to tell us as a lender how much the entitlement that they have, if they've used it before or not, and then also if they're getting VA benefits. So if they're getting like a monthly amount for disability, for that kind of thing, we can use that for qualifying income. And so it's going to give us kind of all the details we need to have as a lender to say, hey, yes, you could qualify for a VA loan. You can go zero down payment and that kind of thing. VA loans don't require PMI. So that's another thing that's great for saving on your veteran clients. And sometimes, your veterans may not know that, but they're not going to have PMI that they're going to have to pay. So that's a huge benefit. Better interest rate. Typically, unlike conventional VA and FHA, both being government-backed loans, those are going to have a little bit better interest rate. So right now, as of yesterday, we were hitting at the low sixes on VA loans. And so again, that's kind of one of those big benefits that you're going to see for veterans. They also have limited closing costs. There's a percentage that we can't exceed when we're doing a VA loan. And so sometimes that means as a lender, we have to come back and give either a lender credit or something like that to help with some of those closing costs if they're not offset by the seller. So again, it's just one of those things where your veteran isn't going to be out, absorbing amount of money because we have to keep those within a certain range for a VA loan. The other big benefit for veterans is if they do have disability, 90, 100%, something like that. Once they close on their loan, they actually need to make sure, not only do you want to make sure that they file their homestead exemption for their property taxes, but they also file their VA exemption for the property taxes. And so those are two things I always like to try to follow up, about 30 days after closing to say, hey, now you should have gotten something, after you close on your loan from the county, you need to make sure you get your driver's license updated and all those things so you can take advantage of both those exemptions on your taxes, because we all know property taxes are not fun. The other big benefit that really works well within VA loans is there is no DTI requirement. So unlike FHA and conventional, where we have a pretty hard stop when it comes to what that debt to income ratio can look like, VA doesn't have that, because VA actually goes off of what's called residual income. And that's to say how much does the veteran actually have left at the end of the month after all their bills are paid, which includes the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance on that new property. Okay, so we're not held within that same box. And so oftentimes we can get where a normal loan would be a 50 to 55% max on their debt to income ratio. Our debt to income ratio on a VA loan can be 60, 65, whatever it is, as long as we get an approvable kind of on our underwriting scenarios, then we can go forward with that loan. So it allows that to be a little more flexible than it would be on some of the other loan programs as well. There also is no credit score guideline. So where normally you're going to have a specific credit score, whether that be 620 for a conventional loan or 620 for an EPA program, or even a 580 to go FHA 3.5%. That isn't the case with a VA loan. Again, it has to be approvable. Typically, when you get too far down there, let's say in the low 500s, it's other stuff that's going to be on their credit profile that's going to make it hard for us to get that approval. But there is no true, you have to have this score in order to qualify. So if we've got a borrower that maybe they've got lots of reserves, the LTV on the property is going to be great because they're putting money down. Other compensating factors in the loan, they're not going to, that it's going to be easier for us to get that approved if they've got a lower credit score. So just some things to keep in mind. That, like I said, it's all about the flexibility of a VA loan, in which some of the other loan products don't allow for. The other great benefit is that we're able to gross up non-taxable income. So if they're getting Social Security or they're getting that VA benefit, maybe disability income or something from the VA, we can gross that up as well. So it allows us then also to give them a little bit more income. So again, it's about all those flexibilities that we have within a VA loan. Simple refi parameters. It's called an IRRRL, which is interest rate reduction. Interest rate reduction refi loan. That's what it is. Anyway, it's a really simple process. So when they, sorry, I always have to remember that was the third off. So sorry. Yeah, I haven't had coffee yet. No, but so an IRRRL is very simple. So on a refi side for a veteran, they can come back and do it a lot simpler than you can just a normal conventional or FHA refi. So it's another big benefit. And one of the things, hopefully you've seen from me or us several times, is that two things we do is we actually have a rate protection guarantee. So if, let's say we close a veteran this month, for the next 5 years, when they come back to us, we're going to waive our lender and appraisal fee for them as well. So it's about $2,300 that can save them on that refinance. So an IRRRL in their situation. And the one thing about an IRRRL or VA refinance is the VA also gives us as lenders pretty stringent guidelines as far as what the net benefit for the veteran has to be. So we're not out there just refining everybody because they dropped half a point. Okay, it really does have to be a net benefit, and we have to prove that to the VA before they'll consider that loan approvable, which guarantees that if we're going to do a refi on your veteran client, that they're going to see some kind of benefit, whether that be $100, $200, whatever that is, because of their rate drop, the property taxes drop, whatever that looks like. There has to be a net benefit to them, so we have to make sure that they're served well. And so that's another great benefit.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Of course.
So, like, I had a client close with a VA with a different lender last year. Can he come back to you and get an IRRRL?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you can refi against everywhere, anywhere. Yeah. Now, waiving the lender and appraisal fee, that's really for clients that we close.
Understood.
But yes, we can absolutely do the IRRRL for them, and then they would still be subject to that then if they want to do it again, say in 2 years.
Okay.
Because rates continue to drop or whatever.
Okay, so, and then on that one too, I have a client that chose to get a lender and just now closed on a home. It was conventional. I don't know why they didn't use their VA. It was also at 7%. It was also out of California. It was a big mess. So how quickly can they refi? Because I think that they need to refi pretty soon.
They should probably be able to do it after 6 months.
Okay.
Right after they make their 6th payment. So.
After they make 6 payments, they can do
They
it.
should be able to refi. Yep.
Great.
And again, we just that net tangible benefit is going to be important because we're going to have to prove that in the loan. But it sounds like potentially if they were at that high of a rate,
yeah,
that would probably benefit them.
Okay.
So yeah, we would absolutely do that. Things to kind of consider though when you are doing work on VA or even when you're listing VA is obviously you're going to have a little bit lower equity in the property because most of the time you're putting zero down. Okay, so on the front end, so that's just one of the things to keep in mind. The appraisal timeline. So the appraisal timeline is a little bit different than it is with conventional FHA. Normally we send out a conventional FHA appraisal order and we know somewhere between 7 and 10 days we're going to get that back. VA truly has 10 business days to get us that. Now that's not to say that the veteran appraiser is not going to get it back to us day 3. I've had that happen too, but they do have a 10 full business days to get us that appraisal. So sometimes that gets it's a little longer sometimes than it can be with other stuff. But as long as we order that early and we all have that conversation, I've never had it be an issue. I just like to call that out that can be. Because sometimes as agents and as lenders, we all get a little impatient. And so day 4, we think, hey, we ordered the appraisal. When are we getting this thing back? Just know that kind of can take a little bit longer on the VA side. But yeah, and like I said, they're not bad. It just can be, sometimes they will take it to that 10th day and they have that ability because of that. Appraisal requirements. The only other thing I would say kind of about appraisal requirements, especially if you've got a listing, is just be conscious of health and safety issues. The VA, kind of like FHA, is going to be different and conventional, where that appraiser is going to be very focused on things about the home, not only the value and the comps, but is everything with the home, meet health and safety standards. Okay, so I had one that just closed the mineral wells last week, and the step out of the back door was taller than the appraisal thought it should be, so they wanted to step at it. So they're going to call out things like that. So just, be conscious of that. A railing, we've had a railing issue one time on the VA loan. They wanted a railing added, so stuff like that. So if you're listing a property and you see stuff, because I get texts all the time from agents, hey, this one's going to go VA. Do you think this is going to be an appraisal problem? And if I think it's something that's safe, because I'm not the appraiser, I don't 100% know, but I'll probably tell you, better safe than sorry. Get it addressed up front, or know that it's probably going to come back, and make sure that's in your timeline for closing and kind of considerations for your seller and your buyer. Time from derogatory events. So that is one thing too that can be a little bit of a catch on VA, is that like if they had a mortgage late, they're going to have to wait 12 months from that mortgage late before they can qualify for the loan. VA is pretty strict about, if you have a mortgage loan and you've been late, that's going to link in that timeline. So that again, that's some stuff just for you to be aware of. But if I ever come back to you, we're trying to pre-approve something and say, hey, we've got this, that's why. There's just some strict contingencies in there when it comes to derogatory events of credit. I think one of the other things to be conscious of and talk to, especially if you have a buyer and you're going to a seller, or you've got a seller and maybe they're worried about appraisals and that kind of thing when it comes to accepting a VA offer, is in reality, VA is one of the easiest loans I think you can do. And especially when it comes to appraisal, even if appraisal comes back low, we can always ask for reconsideration of value. So, don't let that be a stereotype with sellers that, oh, VA is going to make it more difficult. It's going to be harder for me to close that loan. It's going to add time to it. It's really not. So again, it's having these conversations and knowing some of this stuff on the front end that makes those transactions go much smoother, I think, than see the traditional FHA. So, max 4% seller concessions. Okay, so that's just another thing if you've got a buyer. One of the great benefits, it kind of goes in combination with the whole down payment situation, is that oftentimes, especially in this market, we know you can get sellers to help us pay for closing costs. Well, veterans at closing can get up to their earnest money back at closing. So like I've had two in the last probably month that both those borrowers have walked away from closing with checks. And they would never expect that. We have that conversation on the front end, like, hey, this is what we estimate when we give them a loan estimate. But if you got seller concessions, you didn't put any money down. I had one borrower that, he walked away with like $4,000 at closing. He was not expecting that. The one last week, he walked away with almost $1,000. We actually are also able to take those seller credits and get him a 4-year property warranty over and above what his builder was doing for him, which was a 2-year. So he was elated by that. He really got all the bells and whistles when it comes to that. So no down payment. Seller can open your closing costs up to 4%. The other thing is just making sure if the veteran is exempt from the funding fee, if they are any kind of disabled, getting any kind of benefit from the VA themselves, they're probably going to be exempt from that funding fee. If not, it's not a big deal. We can roll that into the loan amount. So just something to be conscious of. But that's where that COE and that DD 214 for us on the front end is so important.
The funding fee is just added to their loan.
It is, yeah.
So if they're disabled at all, it is exempt from it.
Most of the time, yes. And it's going to show us on their COE if they're exempt from that funding fee or not. Yeah. And then it's just not even going to be on there. If not, we're going to roll it into their loan amount. So It's kind of like the funding fee on an FHA loan too. So, and then the only other big thing is that VA loans, and I get asked this all the time. In fact, we had a friend that was using somebody else and had a lot of questions about a VA loan. It is for a primary residence. Okay. You can't go buy an investment property with your VA loan. You can't buy, something that's not going to be something that you live in.
Your child cannot take your VA benefit, and
it's not something you can
allowance.
pass around, and that's a misconception.
Seriously,
because you can't hand it to
VA, right? You just can't get the benefits from it.
do it.
You can purchase it with the VA loan, but you can't have the benefits.
If
of
you're
it.
not a veteran, no.
Well, like if you are a veteran, you can buy like a second property. You just can't assume the benefits of it. You can use the VA loan. It's just you can't use.
Well, you're not going to probably be able to use your zero down payment and stuff if you're buying anything other than your primary residence.
Yeah, but
okay.
it can still be VA, right? Or
No, not with it being like an investment property. No, it has to be your primary residence.
But
Now,
if you
if-
own a home and you've owned it for the allotted amount of time, you can buy a second home to move into with a
Right.
VA, if that's what you're talking about.
yeah,
but you can't go buy like I want to go buy a rental
Right.
property and use my VA
Right.
benefit for that.
You can turn your primary
Right.
into a rental and buy a new primary that's been the right amount of time.
Even if you have leftover eligibility.
Yes,
You
yeah.
got to really good.
okay.
And even if you don't, you just pay the difference. Yeah.
What was I going to say about that too? The VA, your benefit. Except in the case where we would see where you could use a VA benefit and it be kind of considered investment is if they were buying like a multi-unit. Okay, so if you're buying a 2-unit, 4-unit, and they were going to live in one side, that's an instance where you could really use your that, because one of those units is going to be your primary and the other 3 or 2, whatever it's going to be your investment property.
And that's okay to do that
And
with
that's
the
okay
VA?
to do that, yes, with VA. So that's the thing too. So the other things to think about is when you're working with a VA client, if you have a veteran who's wanting to do a build, maybe they're wanting to build new construction, okay, from the ground up. We're talking, they want to go out, buy 5 acres, build their property. We actually offer VA one-time closed construction as well. So that means 0 down, just like it would, as long as they've got eligibility, all those things as well. And then the other one that we have is our NAF cash, which is where we go out and purchase the property for the buyer via cash, because maybe they've got contingent, whatever the situation is. And VA and conventional, the 2 loan types that we can do that on. FHA you can't because of the flip rule, but VA doesn't have that. So
What's that called?
NAV cash.
NAV.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's in, I think, one of these 2. As far as I can send it to you last time, and it's where we go out and buy the property for the buyer cash. So we actually qualify them up front for what they're going to purchase, as long as their house is on the market. It has to be listed on the MLS. And then there's a couple other small things they have to qualify for and go through underwriting. But if they do that, then we can go purchase that property for them cash. They really have a 90-day window in which they can then finish out selling their property, all that kind of stuff. Once that property's sold, we take all that, we close on their loan for their actual purchase of their property. So it's a great option for veterans as well. So
What's the fees associated with that?
we actually, as a lender fee, we charge 1.5%. So that's really the only upfront fee for us as a lender, which is pretty minimal compared to some of those cash products that are out there.
They don't pay it up front either.
Yeah.
So it's whenever they buy it back. So I'll give you guys a scenario. A week and a half ago, or 2 weeks ago, I had a client call me who had been approved by a lender. And so they were out shopping. They were under contract. They were supposed to be closing in 5 days. Well, the lender called them and said, we can't do this loan because you don't have enough eligibility to qualify for the one you own and the one you're purchasing. And so we were able to close it in 4 days by doing a cash loan. So we purchased it for them. We made sure they qualified, and we saw that they would have enough eligibility once they closed on the current home that they own. And so they got to, close. Maybe it was I think it was 2 days after the day they were supposed to close. But now they have time to sell their other home. And so
Is there a limit, price limit for that?
We go up to what? 2 million,
million.
2 million, I think, on that cash. So
How long do they have to sell the house?
well, technically they have forever, but 90 days. So up through 90 days, they just pay rent from us. So they don't pay anything up front. We buy it, they rent it from us. It's a specific calculation based on the purchase price. And then after 90 days, we start charging interest on that rent. So we really want to get that house sold within those 3 months.
And the big benefit to NAV cash, as opposed to maybe like a bridge loan or something like that, is you're not having to qualify with both payments too. So we're not going to look at the fact that they, because on a bridge loan, you're going to have to qualify for your new bridge payment, which is on your existing, and on that new property. And that is a lot of times why those don't work, is because your debt to income ratio doesn't work with your borrower trying to qualify. Even with a new loan that's not their current mortgage, it's a lot of payment shock there. But on that cash, we don't do that. We're only looking at getting them qualified for that, knowing that we're going to get rid of this house later. So it's
Same
not.
thing
a
with
liability.
the one-time close.
Yeah.
So they
exactly.
can roll in land and the purchase like what we're doing. Yeah. And so it's really great
Yeah.
for VA buyers.
So I just kind of want to go through kind of VA, because I think a lot of times, I know I, as a lender, the first one I ever got, I had done FHA and conventional, like my entire first year as a lender many years ago. I remember the first VA, I was so nervous and scared because it's like, oh my gosh, it's VA. Because you hear that all the time. Oh my gosh, all the overlays and it's really not. Ultimately, VA in a lot of ways is as easy to work with, if not easier than anything else. Because we can go back and forth. We don't have the DTI requirements. We've got a little flexibility in the scores and that income situation. So it's a great part of the market for you to start, marketing to and targeting. Go reach out to, VFW Post, VA groups, VA hospitals, all that kind of stuff are all great ways to, kind of find that clientele and work with them. So anyway, that's kind of what I want to cover is VA stuff. Any questions, comments? Like I said, I left some other stuff that's got a lot of our other products, our DPA programs. Oh, that is one thing I was going to say is VA, you can actually combine with the DPA as well. So the gentleman I closed out of Mineral Wells, we did that for him. We didn't really, he had the money, but he is on fixed income, single veteran. He's actually 60-something years old, buying his first house. It was actually a really cool story. But we were actually able to use some down payment assistance funds, still get a really good rate. And he, like I said, got money back at
What's
closing.
the benefit of doing a DPA on a VA
The closing costs. He didn't, because he didn't have seller concessions that would
Okay,
offset
okay,
that.
okay.
So it was like, hey, I can get you $5,000 in
So
this
it's,
CPA.
it's a grant, not
Right.
necessarily just down payment.
Right,
assistance.
exactly.
Okay, okay.
It's just helping offset the other side of that transaction. But it worked out really well for him, and so we can do that too. So lots of benefits there for veterans. So just kind of wanted to cover all the good stuff.
I'll put Ryan's contact information in Slack and stuff for later today, so you guys can text him, call him, email him, all his stuff, and I'll grab a couple of these and see if I can get those
absolutely.
in. Get those in.
I was gonna say that was really helpful on the buyer side, because sometimes you have to educate the listing agent. They will
Sure.
sometimes kind of like tell their client they're scared of VA
Yep.
loans. So up front, educating the listing agent
Yep.
when you have a VA buyer with this kind of information you gave us is really helpful, because I know they sometimes scare.
They do, like I said, because I think
do
there's a
it all.
stereotype out there, like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so difficult.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to
It's gonna be
sell.
45 days, and it's
Right.
like not
So
reality.
give us, well, so that helps us to be able to like negotiate, like especially in a multiple offer situation we might be coming into the next few months, is the VA offer might actually be better than this is why.
And also
We'll
have
probably
a
have to do
lender
that.
partner that's like,
Yes.
hey,
Yeah.
100%.
here's how we do.
Call them,
this.
tell
Yeah.
them, explain it to the listing agent.
And I was gonna say that if we ever work together, we all, any of us who ever work together, if you ever have somebody that you have a listing agent that's nervous, they want to, please pick up the phone and tell me, or text me and say,
Okay.
hey, call this agent.
Yeah.
100% I'll have the conversation.
Okay.
I'm obviously not gonna tell them everything about our client, but I'm gonna say, hey, we've looked at credit, we looked at, because again, we want to reiterate, it's not a pre-qual that we've done either. We've done pre-approval. So we've looked at their COE, we've looked at their income. We know they're in good shape. So let's not get too nervous about it making anything more challenging than it is.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Which also, that's another good reason for the NAV cash. It's not just for someone who has a contingent offer. If they have 10 offers on the table and you have a VA client, you already have them approved through Ryan, and I know they can go NAV cash, you get to submit a cash offer. It's not a,
Yeah.
so you get to submit a cash
Or-
offer closing in 10 days.
Or like sometimes I had this happen where someone didn't show up to buy this person's house and they couldn't buy this other person's house. We had to bump it up, and it would have been perfect if we could have done that. That's it. I didn't even think about that in that situation.
So if you do, like Ryan said, reach out to me if you have any questions, happy to help. We've got tons of marketing material, tons of stuff you can, as an agent, we can co-brand, presentations you can give to sellers, buyers, whatever it is for kind of the benefits of VA. But again, I just think it's a great part of the market that we should all be focused on and can be part of your 2025 kind of business plan. So.
Very good. Thank you, Ryan, for breakfast. Thank you for being here. Great info.
Good to see
Amanda,
you.
thank you for coming. Amanda, right?
Yes.
Amanda, thank you for coming. All right, guys, we're gonna.
Have a great day. See y'all soon.
All right, we're gonna move on now. We're gonna go ahead and hit our core value this morning. So our core value today is one that we don't generally do a lot. You may not have. We haven't done this one in probably close to a year. But we value people and principles over profits, and this is from the 6th Ave perspective. We make decisions based on our principles and serving our clients, not just maximizing profit. In the end, it's about accomplishing our bigger mission, not making a quick buck at the expense of people. We talked about this yesterday in our leadership meeting, and Jimmy had such a really great spin on it that I've asked him to come join us this morning and give a spin on. That was a joke. Come on, laugh. Having fun, right? Thank you. Okay, Jimmy.
Well, so I did another spin.
Okay.
completely.
Okay, we'll go.
Yeah. So, I mean, the reason we created this, well, I'll give you a little background. We created we didn't create this core value. We believe in this core value. And when we were starting the company, this is, there's some core values that are more Jamie's and some that are more mine. This one is like mine. I love this. I'm like people and principle over profits. I'm not going to be this greedy boss or whatever. I'm always going to be freely with my money, be very generous with it. I believe in that wholeheartedly. And so with that heart, it's like a really good cause. Went out to go start a business, and I'm like, pay people what they deserve. If there's a mistake, we throw money at it. If there's like something wrong with somebody's life or their whatever, I'm throwing money at it. And what I realized is like, you can't really run a business that way. You lose money, and lose money not like a little bit. You lose a lot very quickly whenever you start throwing money at problems. But if you don't care about money, it's easy, and I truly don't. I just don't care. I need money to live, but that's about it, and I'd be really happy with very little. So I know that personally. But whenever I interjected that mentality into my business started to suffer, and like not a little bit, but greatly. And so what I realized is like, this is still a really good core value. I still live this way. But when in regards to running a business, you have to have profit to care about people, like in a business setting. In your personal life, great, man, be generous. Like, it's not your money, like give it away. Like, truly, like, I believe that. But with your business, when it comes to your business, you have to have at least some profit to care about people. You have to make profit to care about people. That's with every transaction. That's with running a business. And so, so what does that actually look like whenever it's carried out? It's what it is it's not being stingy with your profits. It's not saying, with my profits, I can now care about people. Whenever I run my business well and I take care of people, I actually get profit. And so it's really not saying we don't need profits. It's really saying I care about people and I believe about taking care of them more than I do about profits. And I believe that profits is going to come with that. It's actually how this whole brokerage not got started, but really shifted into the brokerage that we are today. Is I believe, I was like, man, if we really just care about agents, give them what they need, provide products for them, like create a good culture for them, then profit will come. And that has worked out to be true. So how does this principle, this core value, apply to your business? Here's what I would say. Don't throw money at problems. That is very, very rarely the cure for everything. Let me give you an example. Whenever people are pissed off, right, and you have an agent, especially the agents are the worst, whenever they start getting pissed off, it's the worst. But you have an agent on the other side, but you have, like, let's say you have a listing, and you have a buyer on the other side. And through your negotiation, you can tell this is about to piss off the buyer, right? This is about to just like infuriate them. There very rarely is a dollar amount that satisfies or soothes that offense, right? Like, there's very rarely where that buyer, once they get pissed off, they're really not pissed off about the money or the insult. Or let's say you're making an offer. Like, they're not pissed off because you made a lowball offer. They're pissed off at the principle that you devalue their house enough. You think my house is only worth $450 and not listed at $525? How dare you? It's not about the money. It's about the insult, the principle behind that. And so it's very rare that if you focus on, like, whenever your negotiations, it's like, we got to hit this magical number. That's very rarely the case. It's more so, how can I dig right into the principle of, like, literally sending an email of, hey, we're about to make an offer. It is not because I do not believe your house is, it might not believe your house is worth it, but you can say it in a way that provides and, like, keeps dignity to the listing agent and to the seller. There's a way that you can make a low ball offer and it still restores dignity. It keeps these principles intact. It doesn't offend. There's a way to negotiate, with most agents. Some of them are crazy. That keeps that dignity, because once that emotional I'm offended gets in there, there's not a dollar amount that's when everybody settles on a dollar amount and everybody's pissed off. No one's really happy. And that's most of the time how I see negotiations happen between agents. Is like, both people are offended about a principle or about the way you were treated, and therefore no dollar amount is really going to satisfy that. We see it in construction all the time. Like, when someone says we messed up on something, I used to be like, all right, we'll just throw money at it and fix it, and we'll give you a reimbursement. I have given literally like $50,000 of reimbursements to people, and they're still pissed off. Like, I'm like, I used to go above and beyond. Like, you want 15, I'll give you 20. Your client's pissed off at somebody. You know what? I'm just going to give you 1% back. That never helps. That never helps.
And those people never come back to you.
No, they never come back to you.
Like, even though you do the right thing, they don't come back.
I know.
They don't refer people.
You're like, you know what? I'm going to throw my commission at that to solve that problem. That never works. It does. It gets the deal done. Good. You got paid. But if you don't address their heart and their principles and what, like, their actual as a human being, you can keep your commission and then still solve it. I mean, like 90% of the time. It wasn't, we didn't start making money in construction until I just realized I got to really actually care about this principle to the fullest extent. And I'm going to go, you know what? We're not just going to throw money at it. I'm going to sit down and talk with you. I'm going to hear you out, hear what you actually pissed off about. I'm going to apologize for that. And then I'm going to fix it at the actual cost, no extra money, but at the actual cost of what it cost me. And that's, I'm not going to pay you any more. And I'll tell them that. And I apologize that I care about you. I want to fix this. I want to make this right. But this is what I'm willing to pay. And actually, that has provided a better solution every single time. So that, like, to the point where that's just our rule. We don't put any more dollars than is needed to fix a problem anymore, like at all. We don't give a single dime back. That seems greedy, right? But we actually, instead, it is going straight to the person, having a conversation, trying to restore dignity, trying to restore whatever is broken and fractured in that personal relationship, and going about it that way. That is valuing people and principles over profits. So a lot easier said than done. But if I could give you one piece of advice from this core value is don't throw money at a problem. Don't give away your commission just to solve a problem. Try and find restoration within that. That's another core value if you don't know. Finding restoration, everything. Go try to find restoration. So a lot easier said than done. But second announcement, I threw on some Calendly.
I got your link. I'll put them in the,
links.
I'll put them in the Slack.
Put them in Slack and maybe email them to everybody. If you need a check-in or if you have a situation that's like that, where you're like, all right, this is literally it. I'm just going to throw my 0.5% or 1% commission at this and solve it. Just give me a call. Let's see if we can just remedy this. This is kind of my specialty of like negotiations, and when things fail, when people are pissed off, whenever someone's offended, that is my sweet spot. Truly, give me a call. I will sit down with you and care about this principle with you and try to help solve it. So, there you go.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, announcements. Next week, we've got Don Matjastik.
Yeah.
I think that's how you say it, Matjastik. Radican Title will be with us next Wednesday at 9:45. We still need some Christmas sponsors. Holly, you got 2 minutes of blurb?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I know we posted a long spiel. Sorry, it was long, but it had a lot of information. So I just want to make sure everybody saw that for one.
Mhm.
Yes. And then, so we still need like a raise of hand on who's participating, who's wanting ornaments, so we can finalize everything, because we just obviously need to know numbers to plan. So if you can just, and can we, I guess I can reshare that, or can you share it in the
What?
email or something that?
Yes.
To that Slack.
Mhm.
Because I didn't read that because I was in church, so I need to. Yes. So, and then the other thing we will need is volunteers. Friday, we will need help during the day to kind of like, we're gonna hopefully get the office cleaned.
Yeah,
Um,
we have it in the budget to get the office cleaned. It will probably be earlier in the day,
Yes.
Friday.
Because we have an event that night. So if we can come up and
Early.
kind of help get kind of set the day.
Friday afternoon, the 6th.
Yeah, it'll probably be earlier than the afternoon, probably like mid-morning to mid-afternoon.
And then Saturday morning will be early.
So, and that's to finalize decor and things like that. And then we will need help cleaning up. So it's just not two people cleaning up.
Yep.
So if you can volunteer and let me know that, hey, I'm in for on Friday, or I'm in Saturday morning,
Yeah,
or I'm in Saturday
And
afternoon.
I think I was talking to Ashley about it this morning. I mean, there'll be more details as we come down the pike. Obviously, like after, Halloween, whatever, closer to Thanksgiving. But we can definitely put like a sign up genius in Slack for if you're going to attend. If you're not, if you've got something else going on, you're going to be here at all. Completely understand doing your own thing. If you are going to be here and you can sign up and you're going to have clients participate, I think if you could either be on Friday or Saturday, help set up or clean up, that would be nice.
And then we also are asking if you have decor that you can let us borrow for the day. If you want to let us know what you have, so we can kind of account for that and see what we need. Obviously, borrowing is better than buying. So if we can borrow, but also if you have anything that you're just looking to get rid of, 6th Avenue would be happy to take it as long as we have the storage for it to have for future events.
We'll just restore it at Jimmy's house.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Got it.
So
All
I think-
Right back there.
Up there.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Taja. Appreciate y'all. Okay, so Maria is still gone for, I think, 2 more days. Yeah, it's her 20-year anniversary, so they went for a long time.
Wow, yeah.
But I think she may be the only one that hasn't done code of ethics. Oh,
I haven't either.
okay. Well, you need to get online and do it.
Anybody's surprised by that, but I haven't.
Literally, if you sat right now and just logged in, you
Yeah.
could do it. But
Yeah,
it's-
Yeah. But
but
you got to do it. You got to do it by December the 31st.
If Jimmy or if Brian would have said, Danielle, it was due.
I know I need to tell you stuff
just
too
have
much
to lie.
early.
You
I
just have to
know.
lie to me.
I hate
No,
lying.
no,
Okay.
Just say it's due November 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get it
Well, now
done.
I know.
The links are always in the Sunday night email to check see if yours is done. If you haven't done it, you have to do it. Okay, so Greater Fort Worth posted their dues, but you signed up for auto now, aren't you?
It's due December 1st.
I think
They're-
I did it.
Okay,
Wait till you
but
see
they're
it.
big. They're big. This is the end of the year dues, so everybody prepare. If you're signed up, it's like mine was $607 for the broker side.
Mine is too.
So.
Well, no, mine was-
I was like 537.
Okay, so just be prepared that Greater Fort Worth is coming up. Certified full service professional people next Tuesday at noon here at the office, and I'll do it virtual as well. So next Tuesday at noon for certified full service professionals. Obviously, the events coming up are Halloween from 11 to 1. We got another slide for that here in a second. December the 7th is the extravaganza here at the office that we just talked about. And then the 6th Ave Christmas party that we're all planning. And that'll be the December the 8th, Sunday night, 6 to 10. So those are the things that are coming up. Here's the spooky celebration. That'll be at 11 o'clock on the 31st. Costumes are required. So plan your costume now. If not, Jimmy's got a box of fun costumes for you to dress in if you don't dress up for yourself. Rachel had asked me to hit this a little bit harder, and I'm going to hit it again at the end. But this is the QR code to get swag. Yes, you must use the QR code. You cannot pay Rachel directly. You cannot send Venmo. You cannot do anything. Everything goes through this site. This little card sits back on the merch wall. And so you can go get something and just scan this and order it directly through there. Again, I'll hit this at the end of this presentation. I should have done it here, but Brian's brain wasn't working when I put this presentation together. So the QR code is there for all the swag, and we'll hit that again in just a minute. Okay, so the national market update. The inventory of homes for sale in September came in at 34% higher than last year. It's now at the highest level in more than 4 years after 11 straight months of annual gains. New listings are picking up and prices are stabilizing. And AR says for the week ending October the 5th, 8% more sellers put their homes up for sale compared to a year ago. And the median list price was down 0.1 from a year ago. Mortgage applications slipped overall. Purchase applications volume held steady, which is 8% ahead of last year, which what were we dealing with this time last year?
Way high.
7.5, almost 8. Refinance applications were a whopping 159% higher than last year, which, why would anybody want to refinance from a 4 to an 8? So anyway, rates. Consumer price index inflation was higher than expected for September, but still dipped from 2.5 to 2.4. However, core CPI, excluding food and energy, rose to 3.3%, which is well above the Fed's 2% target. November rate cut expectations, we're talking about what we're expecting to happen at the November meeting after the election. They were cut back from 0.5 point to 1/4 point. Expectations are now down slightly of what's going to happen in November. The main thing is because unemployment claims shot up 258,000, showing weakness in the labor market. I'll hit that again in a second. Early sign of a housing market shift. Fannie Mae's home purchase sentiment index rose in September by 9.4 points annually, reaching its highest level since 2022. Rates were 8% last year. Why would somebody have high? You see what I'm saying? That's a duh moment. But anyway, so that's there. The weekly forecast. Home building activity is expected to dip in September. Housing starts and building permits both down a tick. Analysts expect September retail sales to show a small gain. However, they are also predicting the weekly jobless claims to continue upward, indicating weakness in the labor market. One thing that I watch on the retail sales, I live by the train tracks in Saginaw. When I see a train that comes through and takes 25 minutes to go up the tracks, and it's got those double-decker trailers on it, all those containers, and they're all headed north, that means they came in through Galveston, got on a rail, and now they're headed through Saginaw, headed to the northeast or the northwest. Because if they're coming through Saginaw, they're headed through Denver and then straight on up into Washington and everything like that, wherever they're going in the Midwest. But if I see those long trains, I know they're preparing for Christmas. They're preparing for Halloween, which Halloween's already here, so they're not preparing for that. But Thanksgiving is here, coming, and so is Christmas. And I watch those retail sales. So that's something I watch personally. I watch those trains. And it's interesting because I can tell how busy of a season they're expecting based on and how long the train is. Okay, well, like last month we had a train that go through that took 35 minutes and it was all cars.
This one, this train was 35.
Yeah. It was all. They've got those long cars the cars that have like the holes in them. Those are the car trailers or cars. I guess they are.
I love that we're doing brokerage.
Yeah.
Like correlations to Brian's.
I wish my brain.
I love that.
Just a little.
That's something that I'm watching that stuff because it figures into the numbers that we look at every month. So this last week,
I need to do slide every week.
yeah, slide every week for the trains. I'll take a picture of the trains every week. So you can see the Federal Reserve Watch is exactly the same as it was last week. It's exactly the same. So nothing really changed on what the consensus is going to be come November. Business tip of the week: do a SWOT analysis, which is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, as a powerful tool to. My husband works for BNSF. They're not as busy, but they're moving merch 6 months ahead. Interesting. Okay, there you go. Identify personal improvement as well to uncover competitive opportunities and ways to stay ahead of market trends. If you need help with a SWOT, Jimmy's an expert in SWOT. So literally.
Two ways in one. Two ways in one.
Okay. This was something I saw that came out. This was a Redfin survey they did before this election. Some first-time voters are saying no. Some first-time buyers are voting no. So in a poll of 500 first-time buyers who plan to buy in the next 12 months, 23% said they are waiting to do so after the election, an event that could determine the shape of new housing policies in 2025 and affect overall confidence in the economy. First-time buyers are younger than repeat buyers, around age 35 versus age 58, and may be more concerned about housing affordability, which is a top election issue for young voters. More than a quarter of the respondents said they are waiting to see if Kamala Harris's housing plan goes into effect, a plan that includes $25,000 in down payment assistance for some first-time buyers. 16 said that they are waiting to see how Donald Trump will tackle affordable housing issues if he's elected. So they got both sides of the coin there.
I do have a question, and I don't know if anybody knows because I don't. On the Harris affordable housing plan, are there I'm sure there are, but are there income limits? Are there purchase price limits?
yeah.
I know there are, but does anybody know what they are?
No,
Have a quick
I
link
read
for
through the
it.
whole bill and it's going in tiers. So you can even know, if you make a lot of money, you can get less than $25,000.
Right. I just didn't know if anybody, because I know we had one stat that was 40% of people are waiting to buy until after the election. And so it makes sense. That's 40%.
That's 40% right there.
40%.
That's
so
it.
It's, if we have over half of those people, fingers crossed that she wins and this goes into effect, does anybody know what the actual usability of that is versus what we already have in
But that's
place?
something that she's going to put out, and then it has to be approved.
Right. Okay.
And so then you're talking about who's in power, who's in Congress.
Okay.
All these things are going to
Yeah.
figure into all of this
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah, presidents don't have a
Right. I knew that, but I just didn't know if anybody
I
had a
haven't
talking
seen the
point.
I
platform.
read the proposal
Okay.
and yeah, so.
Okay. For some, it's just not the right time. While the election is weighing on some first-time buyers, it wasn't the main reason people were waiting to buy. More than 30% of those surveyed said they're still saving up for the home purchase. 29% said the timing wasn't right yet for them or their family. And more than 18% are waiting for the Fed to cut rates further in the hopes that mortgage rates will then decline as well. So again, the misconception, everybody, please hear this. The misconception is that mortgage rates go right off of what the Fed does, and they do not. They do not. They are figured off of the 10-year Treasury note. And then we look at CPI, the Consumer Pricing Index, and we look at jobs, and we look at the farm report and payroll and jobs
And the trains.
and the trains in Saginaw.
Train.
Okay,
Unfortunately, people listen to the media.
exactly.
And
And
that's why we.
it's a
try to
synopsis.
piggyback off of it.
it's a synopsis.
Like,
Okay, so housing numbers. We're going to hit these. I've still got 15 minutes, so I'm going to try to be very sweet of your time today. Fort Worth and Tarrant County are seeing more home buying opportunities thanks to a rise in active single-family listings. Year-over-year inventory has expanded, reaching 3.7 months in Fort Worth, 3.5 months in Tarrant County, up from 2.5 months in both areas this time last year. Meanwhile, median home prices have remained steady. Fort Worth at 335, Tarrant County at 346. The U.S. Census Bureau numbers indicate Fort Worth had the second largest population gain nationwide in 2023, with more than 21,000 new residents, making it the 12th largest city in the nation, ahead of Boston, San Francisco, and Seattle. We're 12th. Dallas is 9th. Okay. 865. These are just some big numbers. 865 houses sold in September of 2024, which is 1% less than September of last year. Median price is up a little bit, 0.4. Housing inventory is up 1.2 months, which that's moving more towards a balanced market. Average days on the market's 50, which is 12 more than last year. And the average number of days to close is 33, which it's always around 30. I mean, that's what it takes to close a house, right? Okay. Here are the actual numbers for Tarrant County. If you guys wanted to, I'll put all these slides in Slack so you can get to them. I save it as a PDF, and then they're PDFs in the Slack message that I send on the brokerage channel. Is everybody on? Do y'all all see the brokerage announcements channel? Because Kaya last week, she was like, I don't get that channel. I'm like, I signed you up, but she didn't know it was there. You have to go to, if you don't see the brokerage announcements channel, add the channel. Just go to the bottom of the channels, say add, browse, and then you'll be able to see all the channels. Say again?
The increase in the listings is actually nuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot.
30, almost
Do you think that
35%.
also is, I mean, because some builders are putting their stuff
Yeah,
out there
back
too,
on
so that's
MLS.
increased, yeah, they're kind
Yeah.
of putting their crap back out there,
Yeah.
so it could skew.
Oh, absolutely could be part of
You know,
that.
2 years ago, you had to go dig
gotta
for
call them.
construction.
And the builder's update email that I used to send y'all, I don't know why somehow it got turned off. And so I don't get it right now. So I went back through and signed back up. So hopefully I can send you that Thursday night or Friday morning builder's update, because that just gives you a quick snapshot of what's going on. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that we'll see heavy listings through the next 2 months. And then I think we'll see heavy listings again at the end of January. And what happened is whenever those interest rates spiked up, a lot of people just pulled their homes off the market. And we did too. Like, you know, we were like, oh, you know, during y'all's listening points, you're like, oh, we should maybe wait until, you know, now to put it back on the market. And so there's a lot of strategy going on there. So I think we're seeing some of these listings are just old listings. They're popping back up or coming back in the market again. And so I think that's inflating it a little bit. Just it's going with interest rates, and that makes sense. But yeah, so I think we'll see that same trend. They'll pull them all during December. That's what everybody will do.
Yeah.
December is the best time to buy too.
December, January are definitely the best times to buy traditionally. Huh?
Oh, it's just because there's usually like with the inventory that is sitting, people are desperate to sell.
Yeah.
They're like they didn't pull it off, and they're not going to put it back on, and you know
They're more negotiable.
February.
There are fewer buyers.
Yeah,
Um,
no one's looking. I mean, you guys know y'all have listings that are just sitting there, and you're like, how do I
Only
get
serious
buyers?
buyers and
Yeah,
sellers,
serious
because
buyers
regular
are
people
out.
just want to throw their house on the market or
Yeah.
not in the market right
No.
now. They don't want to show, they don't want to move, all that.
And
Yeah.
builders don't want to carry their inventory
Yeah,
into the
true.
next
Nobody
year.
wants
Sure.
to carry.
Yeah.
True.
December's good. January is a great time to be a buyer, because that's before this. If anything before spring break, you can probably get it without having a multiple offer, and you probably can talk them down a little bit. So here's Parker County for my Parker County people. I just wanted y'all to have your slide in there as well. Here is actually Fort Worth, and yeah, up 41% in active listings. Closed sales are down 1.1. Median price is basically steady at 0.4. I mean, 0.5% is not that much. Months of inventory, 3.7. Here's the swag that we were talking about. So we're talking about maybe getting some more
No,
stuff.
we're gonna do a big reorder.
So are you gonna switch to tequila?
Well, that's what we want you guys' input, right? I mean, I don't want to make a
I like
decision.
bourbon and tequila, but I like TX, so
Well, not what you
you
like.
can't do that.
you
No,
know?
I mean, I like to give bourbon and
Yeah.
tequila.
Okay.
Got a lot of Hispanic
But-
clients. They love tequila.
Well,
I agree with
let's
the
not
tequila.
get on the alcohol. Let's not get stuck there.
Have you met your team or you don't know us? Or?
Listen, hey, we will get alcohol, everybody. Don't worry. Get a couple things. Yeah. So my question is, what else? Give me some ideas. I'm gonna start writing them down. I'm gonna literally just make a massive list. Glasses, any sort of like, like as agents and like in the brokerage, like we like swag, right? I mean, you want to
What do you buy
represent
from
what
other
your
people?
brand is, right? But your clients don't always want a 6 Ave. Like they're like, I don't want a hat or 6 Ave. I'm not gonna. Some clients wear it. They're like, this is awesome. They love it. But like some of them are like, they're just not gonna. They're like, great, throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other? I don't care if it's branded 6th Ave or not, but what are some things? Okay, let me preface this. You guys have a client. You're trying to do a closing gift. You're probably going to do something personal for them, but you might have 3 closings in a day, and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to get a closing gift. I don't have time to get one.
Yeah.
I just got back in town from a vacation. I'm just going to swing by the office real quick, grab a bunch of crap, and I know it's going to be like nice. I know everybody's like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So what are some of the things that we can have here that are nice, and we will go through them? Like you will go.
This is
What?
what I was gonna say, cutting boards, but
Okay.
they have to be quality, they can't be cheap crap that you get.
Hey, we will only buy good shit. Sorry.
I love-
So I have there's someone in Weatherford that I've been buying from, and they've been making these Texas shaped cutting boards. They are so cute in my pictures. Everyone loves them, and I've been buying them for $36.
That's what I
If
was
we
gonna.
could get
Are they
them,
branded or just?
No. but if we could get them and then brand them 6th Ave, or if we could personal brand them on our own, whatever, because we could add that to it. That's a really cheap
I was about to say.
cutting board, and it's
That's
only from
Texas.
Texas.
I'm like-
But they have plain.
Yeah,
colors.
let's just
That's
do
annoying.
non-shaped Texas.
I was about to say the
Yeah, I got
Texas
you.
stuff is really good, and then Fort Worth stuff. I mean, I don't live in Fort Worth, but I
So
mean, I did.
Winton
But
and
like,
Waits has a ton of Fort Worth stuff and a ton of
Yeah,
Texas stuff,
that
and I
local-
always go there,
Fort
and the
Worth
one in
local.
Aledo also.
yeah, because like that hat that I have
Uh-huh.
on Facebook, that Good Times in Funky Town. I can't tell you how many like messages I got, but where'd you get that?
I like the idea of bags of coffee.
Yeah,
That's
because I'm sure
huge.
that one of y'all can like partner with some, but like, I mean, well, what's
Prints and Threads gave us a quote, Jimmy,
Max
for that.
What
We
about
already got a
good
quote
size
for coffee.
baskets?
No, for the cutting.
Put the stuff in.
Yes,
That's
that's
also.
also-
Baskets.
I was gonna say, and I know Roy Pope does custom coffee bags. Like
That'd
you
be
just
so
have
good.
to buy a certain amount, and they'll
Yeah.
literally like put our logo or whatever
Yeah.
on the bag.
Sweet.
Like a specific brew, like if you like 6 Ave.
And I was gonna also like the people that Paris uses. They're out of Dallas, but they'll make a custom blend for us
That'd be cool.
and put like our
That would be cool.
Stanley's. The cups.
a Stanley Cup. Yeah, that'd be cute.
Well, to order Stanleys ahead of time, you have to order in bulk unless you buy them from like Academy.
Yeah, but you can just do 6 Ave.
Yeah, like the logo.
But would you guys,
Really cool.
would you guys
I
say,
also
would
have
you
a
guys give
wholesale for Yeti.
6 Ave Stanley to someone,
Yes.
or just a regular Stanley?
6
Six
Ave.
Ave.
Be honest.
No,
Be
6
honest.
Ave.
I would like the 6th Ave to be on the stand. That'd be really.
And I think
But
that's something all of
Even
us
if
would
it
buy
doesn't have
too.
to be gaudy. It can just be like on the bottom. It just says 6, like nothing like huge.
I mean, but I carry this everywhere.
Right. It could just be something like even the logo, like I don't know, just something.
But even if not,
Topper.
the topper.
Those
says
are good
that.
too.
See,
Yeah.
but that's what I do. I mean, I know I've told Brian and Jimmy this, but that's what I do for my closing gift. Like I go to wherever it's convenient for me today, and I buy like my last closing was my TCU professor, and she was doing all of her whole house like in neutral. So I go buy like her primary bath like towels and soaps and a throw for her bed, and then I incorporate something with 6 Ave inside the basket. So like just a small thing, brand it.
What about doormats?
Ooh, yeah. Doormats, y'all like, but not 6 Ave.
No, just like something that
Yeah.
says something cute.
Jana has raised her hand. Jana, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to kind of piggyback on what Tasha was saying. I think it was Tasha. The best gifts I've given or been best received have been like baskets. They might have Texas theme. That's gone over really, really well. Love the cutting board, charcuterie board. You know, a lot of my clients don't drink, that I think a throw in a basket with a candle and or kitchen towels or just simple little things like that are easy. I don't know how on earth you would stock those at the office, but I do like the idea of the Texas theme.
Make sure they're
The
clean.
cup,
labeled.
and like a Stanley cup and kitchen towels, candles, simple little stuff like that that might be pre-printed with something cute about welcome home on it. It doesn't have to have 6A on it, but just something heartwarming about welcome home, glad you're here, welcome to Texas, whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jana.
That's all.
Okay, so that's really good, Jana. I mean, yeah, again, I think what I want to do is I just want to I don't care if it's all 6-app branded stuff. I want to if it's first of all, that basket.
I need a
branded
basket.
Oh my
would be
God.
solid.
That'd be
I think
good,
that's a
because
solid one.
that's the 6th
And then you
Avenue.
can put whatever you
things
want.
in it,
But
exactly.
I would like
Or
to
a
have
cooler.
like a candle that
I have
that's a good
a-
gift, though.
I have a,
When you fill
What
it
about
up
an
with,
ice bucket?
I have a Yeti
Chop the ice
wholesale
buckets
account.
like literally, if you got a nice bucket and you just at the back of it put
Bacon brand, easy.
6 homes.
Okay,
You
so
need to do
just
something like that pool and outdoor too, where
Yeah.
you have like a.
Oh,
Oh,
we
dude,
we
the
get
Yeti
we
ice
get
buckets
Yeti
are
coolers.
badass.
We get Yeti coolers with towels. Oh, so 6-app branded towels.
Oh yeah, like pool towels.
That'd be
That's
super cool.
this is
Yeah.
kind of extra,
Thermometer,
but like
little
ring
thermometer.
doorbell is
Yes.
so good just to be able to grab and go. It's
Say,
really
what is
good.
it?
It's kind of extra, but like ring doorbells, like just having them because like people love rings.
Okay.
That's extra.
Go. Oh, sorry.
No,
Go
you're
ahead,
good.
Ashley. What are you thinking?
So 2 things, fanny packs. Older people love fanny packs. I know. Crossbodies, but you would be
Crossbodies.
surprised.
Yeah.
Even their kids would wear.
I would love for you to find me and give me one. I remember.
If you maybe get some sort of label maker, or you can make your labels, that way you can put them on some candles. Or if maybe we want to bring up something maybe we bought, but we could put. that
Oh,
label
so
on
like
it.
clear stickers, like what we had that said 6th Ave, but they're good ones that you can put on
Yes.
candles or on other things. That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Grayson has a Cricut, so he can.
They can do that.
He's got a label Cricut.
That was our idea with the candles.
He cuts this stuff out. That's just a cheap one.
Was to buy the candles in bulk because it was cheaper and then do a sticker.
I can get us a deal on some pretty good stuff like that. We could do labels on it, but I mean, but also if we just stocked candles, soaps, some hand towels or something like that, and just have them not branded. I don't want every single thing
Yeah.
branded. So they're
Right.
great. Now I have a soap and a candle. And it's all pretty
Have a
6
6th Avenue bathroom.
If I'm seeing this and I'm using somebody else, I'm like, I love it. I would rather just have a towel.
Yeah.
I would just rather
I
have
think
a
a tea
soap.
towel though would be really cool.
Yes.
That's a tea
A
towel.
tea towel. So it's like you hang it on your
Oh, yeah,
dishwasher. Like it's the thinner material though.
Oh, no,
And
what about golf balls?
or like a golf towel even.
Yeah, golf balls.
Laforga did golf
Jan-
towels.
Jana raised her hand again. Go ahead, Jana.
I think I've almost forgotten what I was going to say, but I think if we did even just like a wrap around, y'all were talking about. I'm sorry. If you got a roll of stickers that said "Welcome Home" from 6A, and then you got cardboard wraps that you could wrap around a throw blanket or a bunch of towels or some tea towels or whatever it is, and you hold it together with that sticker. I think you can use it in a variety of ways and have just maybe some basic colors that we use, maybe white, floral, I don't know, maybe neutral, black and white, whatever it is, to sock some of these things, a candle that has something to do with being home or the smell of home or whatever. I just think those are basic items that could be grouped together in a cute gift basket and be on the fly. So that's it.
Thank you,
What
Jana.
is that, tape?
So like
It's
a
just it's like a
wraps.
well, it's not tape. The whole thing is not
Like if you
tape.
go get if you go to the throw, it's just like it's like something that you can wrap around it.
You know when you go to a restaurant and there's the silverware and it's got the paper around it,
Yeah.
something like that, and then a sticker that's like a 6-app sticker that, or like at the end of it is only sticky that's sticky. So you can
Okay.
wrap it around multiple
Okay.
different
Quick.
We
things.
can use we can get the wrap and then we can use the labels, same labels.
Yeah.
Sticker labels.
Another thing,
But my main question is, like, how much of this stuff do I go and seek out to get branded versus, like, you know, finding like an Etsy person to like brand everything? Like we go buy the product and then get it branded, then have it here. And then how much stuff do you guys want just on hand that's just like, hey, this is a really good quality candle. Italian, they make some really good quality candles that also fights human trafficking. Like, do we just want to buy like, hey, these are like some really good products that we just have on hand here?
Yeah.
How much branded versus how much do y'all want? Some like stuff like that. Truly, like, be honest with yourselves. I don't want to buy just a bunch of crap
Well,
for 3 years.
We have the option to put the sticker on some of it, but maybe
Yeah.
not everything. I would maybe lean towards those items.
Okay.
But having the QR code, like where there's a station with these
Yes.
items, so we scan it, we're like, we want this, and it's done. The basket's there, we put it all together, we're out the door.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Agreed?
Do y'all-
Everybody agree with
does
Ashley?
Everybody else agree with that?
Yes.
Like, you have the option to maybe put a sticker on it as
Yeah.
well. It might have their branding, but you can put the sticker on the back or I don't know, something like that. Like, I don't think it's like a cheap sticker. I think it's a nice
Yeah.
quality.
I mean, even like when you think about like the Blackland stickers,
Yeah.
those were just overlays.
Yeah.
And so that made it
wasn't that
easy.
good.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like that was not
Yeah.
a hard solution
Exactly.
to that.
Exactly.
So-
You're right.
Um,
You're right.
I think the sticker is the way to go, because when we were looking at the candles from Worthy Co, that's what we talked to, just buying in bulk and then doing.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I look at the gifts a little bit different because like closing gifts, I'm probably not going to use a lot of stuff like that because I'm going to go out and really personalize it.
Sure.
But mine is like, I take little gifts and little things, I mean, like when I meet clients, when I go, like when I first meet them, show them, you know, pop-bys and things like that. And that's probably where I throw less inexpensive things in there that are branded for me.
Yeah. So, any other small branded things though? Like if you were going to do something, so like I got 3 or 4 personalized things, any other small branded?
We looked into doing pizza cutters because, well, this is more like for somebody that's moving, like bringing them a box of pizza and a pizza cutter and paper plates and napkins.
Oh,
For an
yeah.
easy, like,
Yeah.
hey, we know you're in the middle of moving, here's a little gift from us. Or we did coasters.
Well,
We're gonna do
because
coasters.
we've just been bad at our job. But we used to do big, like, we used to get cardboard boxes and put, like, when somebody was like actively moving, like closing in a week, we would drop them off with like paper towels, counter wipes, a gift card for a pizza, blah, 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 because we know that week leading up to closing or just moving in is really hectic. Helping them getting the house clean, providing a meal that they don't have to think about, and just, I mean, that's just little things that we.
Coasters was the other thing. I thought those were good.
We got like just like a brown gift bag that you can put label on. Nothing big, just something if we want to like give a candle or something small, we can run up, grab a tissue or not.
I think we do have some.
Gift
We
bags and gift baskets too. Yeah, because those labels.
we have
labels
those
are
boxes,
perfect.
you
Yeah.
know, you know,
Those were
those
just so
boxes.
Yeah.
The boxes were.
How much were they?
They were
Were
45.
No,
I
no.
thought, no, just the box is 22.
Oh.
The
The
No,
folding boxes
yeah, they were
that
like
were
20
branded.
bucks.
I thought they were more than
no,
that.
the
That's-
other one was like 40.
Oh, the
No,
the wooden
the
box.
wooden
The
box
wooden
was
was 45.
That was expensive.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like, you know, all these things are
People-
gonna be, anytime you get something custom, it's gonna be expensive.
Mhm.
So it's like, you know. if
Yeah,
we
but
get a-
like I got a basket, it went in like it was only $12 and you know they even made money off of it. So you guys should be able to source those cheap, right? And we could just put a little ribbon with a little hang down that says 6 have like an ornament, like something
Yeah.
like this onto the basket. So you don't have to like we could add those things
Yeah.
to the things, but
Got
to
it.
have something to put everything in is really good. They're gonna throw the boxes away. I think the boxes are so cute on social. They are literally
But they're
great.
just, yeah.
They're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
throw them away. So there's a basket they would keep. So I would
Okay.
prefer like
Go ahead, Jenna.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you know, if we do a box, we need some road grain ribbon to just tie around it and make it special. If you've ever seen what Crate and Barrel does, I used to buy all my closing gifts from Crate and Barrel because they would put it in this really cool white box, said Crate and Barrel with a big bold black ribbon on it, and it was so easy to carry into closing. Could be, you know, some type of home decor like a vase or something you stick on a shelf, and that people just love it because it looks special. So if we do a box, it needs to have a road grain ribbon on it, and it can have 6th Avenue on it. Really simple. That's all.
Well, I
There's
got-
a reusable, the good reusable bags that have the cardboard
Mhm.
bottom so that you can
Yeah.
use the bag.
I like the idea of finding like really good quality things that we all like. I might just get some samples of stuff,
Okay.
and then finding a way to wrap it with a ribbon or tape
Yeah.
or sticker or an ornament that has 6th Ave that you can then remove it later.
Yeah,
I really like
that way
that.
somebody uses it
So
again.
branded 6th Ave for a thing, and then you can still use it. So it's like an actual good gift.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I
The
like that.
basket is
That's-
always what I'm like, I've got to go to Target. Like
Okay.
that, I think,
Okay.
like to your point.
Yeah.
like,
And it doesn't have to be a huge
No,
basket. It just needs to
it
be
just
like,
like this size or
Yeah.
smaller, like
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
Well, I'm going to actually call the meeting. We can continue to talk, but I'm going to turn the recording off so that people have it online, and then we can move
That
forward
was
from there.
really good.
All right, very good. Thank you guys for being here today. Appreciate you very much.
look
I
at
think
my
I'm gonna
gift
get those
basket I
things.
got. It was so cute from.
I'll get those things like Fort Worth themed things or Texas themed things and just.
Josh, thank you for joining us today, bud.
I would buy.
crazy. All my
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate y'all. Enjoy y'all's week.
Have a good one. Hope to see you soon in person. Take care.
Great. Thank you.
That's what I was gonna say. I do it for my out-of-state clients that are moving to Texas.
It's not like